Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Raya Jade and I'm a crocheter and artist from Australia. So today this is my very first crochet tutorial and I am going to show you how I made this little crocheted bucket hat. It is reasonably easy to make, probably beginner safe. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I'd say this is beginner safe, it's beginner friendly. It's just using the granny stitch in the round, and there's two different types of variations, I suppose that's what you'd call them, to keep the shape from distorting too much. For this hat, I'm going to be using this yarn. It's called Moda Vera Shadow 8 ply. It's 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, so it's a good yarn blend for a crocheted hat. And it says 4mm for the hook size. I'm using my 4.25. I always use that for 8 ply generally, and I'm using this. I have a reason for the chopstick. It actually makes things a lot easier unwinding the yarn, but in this case with this yarn, not as much. But without further ado, you'll be needing your crochet hook, darning needle, and scissors as well. So let's get started. Alright, so to start, I'm going to be using a magic circle. You don't need to if you're not confident using them. You can just do a chain 4 and then work back into that first stitch. But if you want to try a magic circle, my bad, an easy way to do it is you have the yarn tail on this side and you don't touch it. Yarn over 2 fingers, under, back across. You have a little crisscross thing going on here. Hook underneath the first bit that you pulled over your fingers. Hook under, pull the one that's on the top, as you can see. You can pull it through. Grab the yarn and pull it through and you make a chain. I normally pull the tail through the loop. And then you can start with the stitches. Now how I normally like to do the granny stitch, you don't need to do it this way. You can just do a chain 1 and then do a treble. I just like doing this method sometimes because it makes it neater and it looks nice through my eyes. But you don't need to. You can do the chain 1 and a treble. But first, we're going to do 3 trebles. Oh, and I use UK terminology, but I will say what the stitch is called in US terms. So it's treble, and US it's double. So 3 doubles or 3 trebles, whatever you want to call it. Then we chain 2, and then 3 trebles again. Okay, and then chain 2 again, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. Because of this yarn blend I'm using, it does have a tendency to split. Not all yarn does that though. But yeah, we're going to repeat this all the way around. So I've done another 3, chain 2, and just repeat that 3 more times till we get back to the beginning. Okay, we're back at the beginning. And if you've never really done a magic circle before and you don't like how it closes, I have a little tip for it later. So I'm going to close mine. Again, if you haven't done it as a magic circle, that's perfectly fine as well. But with mine shut, mostly, little hole there, got a little hole. We're going to do the second round now. Well, sorry, no, before we do, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first stitch at the start. You feel it come through? Come through. You are going to hear some interesting voices coming out of my mouth during this video, so alright, second round. It's going to be a similar thing. We're going to be doing 3 trebles into this space, Again, you do not need to use, oh, we do, the flip did I do there? Again, you do not need to use the same method that I'm doing for this, which I don't know what just happened there. It was splitting on me, as usual. Okay, let's start out again. Do the treble into that space, and then add 2 more into the same space. All right, chain 1. I don't know why I don't know why I'm talking like that. Chain 1, next space, 3. So 1 treble. Oh, wrong spot. Oops. 2 treble. Now I don't know where I'm going. 3 treble. Okay, we have 3. We are chaining 2. Same spot, 3 trebles. Our first one is just 3, and then the next space it's 2. So 3 trebles or 3 doubles in the US. I'm going to try that again. 3 trebles in the US. It's double. Double in the US. Chain 2, and then 3 stitches again. And you're going to repeat that around into the next one. Here, there, and there. So I'll meet you back at the beginning. I'm going to add 3 into that beginning space. 3 trebles, doubles in the US. Chain 2 and slip stitch into that beginning stitch. And round 2 is done. Round 3 is actually really similar to round 1. So it's going to be treble into that space again. Oh dear. Okay. Treble into that space again, and then 2 more. And then for the rest of this round, it's going to be 3 trebles into each space. We're not doing corners. It's just going to be 3. And we're going to be chaining 1. And then again, 3 trebles into the space. Chain 1. And into that corner space, it's just going to be 3 trebles. But yeah, 3 trebles, chain 1, and repeat this all the way around. Okay? Okay, now that I'm at the end, I'm going to chain 1. Oops, fix that. But yeah, I'm going to chain 1 again, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch in the first cluster of 3, and that is round 3 done. Okay, round 4 is sort of similar to what we just did, but instead of 3 trebles, it's just going to be 2. So again, I'll do my method of the treble at the start. You can do chain 1 and then a treble, or you can try mine. It's all up to you. And then just going to work a second one into this space. We're just going to be doing 2 in this space. Next space is going to be 2 again. So 1, 2, and then we're going to chain 1, and then into that same space we're going to do 2 more trebles, like so. It creates a sort of V stitch while also retaining some of that granny stitch vibe sort of thing, so it flows together. And then you're going to repeat that bit all the way around. So again, 2 trebles. Oh, give me one moment. The yarn is splitting again. 2 trebles, chain 1, 2 trebles into the same space. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. Back to the beginning. Yeah. We're back at the beginning again, and we're in that beginning space. I'm going to add 2 trebles, chain 1 and slip stitch into that beginning stitch. Okay, and that is another round done. Okay, now the next round is going to be reasonably similar to round 3. It's going to be similar to this round here where we just did the clusters of 3 trebles. So treble into that first space again, and then second treble. Okay, and then 2 trebles into that space, the next space. So it's just 2 here and then 2 in the next one, and then again into this one it's going to be 2 trebles. Nice and easy all the way around. So 2 trebles into each space all the way around, and then back to the beginning. But yeah, just slip stitch into the first stitch. There we go, and that's another round done. Mine is starting to distort a tiny bit, but that's going to be okay because the following rows is going to be a repeat until you get to the desired length you want. It's going to be 3 trebles into this first space as like with some of the other rounds. Okay, and then into the next space you do 3 again, and into the following space you do 3 again, and that's repeated all the way around. Really, this is going to be repeated until you get to the length that you want. Now roughly for me, when I look at mine, I just counted it before, so I have 11 rounds of this repeating round. So if you can see, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I start the brim. You might need less, you might need like a row less, or you might need 1 or 2 rows more than what I did on mine. It's going to come down to your comfort and how big your head is, because we all have different shaped heads. Yep, different size. We all have different size heads. So make it to suit your comfort level. So yeah, just repeat this all the way around, and then repeat that row again and again and again until you get to the length that you want. At least get to 10 rounds. See if it fits on your head, and if you think you need a couple more or 1 less, do that, and then you'll be able to start the brim, which will be the next step. Pause, do those rows, and then come back. Alright, so with those rounds done, to create the body, we're going to be moving on to the brim. Now, which is going to be easy for this round, for the start of it. It's just going to be double crochet all the way along, which is single in the US. So how this works is you're going to be doing a double into the space, this first space here, and then do 1 double into each of those 3 trebles into the next space, and then again 1 stitch into each stitch and space again, and you repeat that all the way around. It's just adding a double crochet into the top of each treble crochet, and also adding 1 into each space as well. So go ahead and do that and then come back. All right, so with that round finished, gonna just slip stitch it close and move on to the next round of the brim even. I'll try and push my hook through, there we go. And for this round, it's honestly just trebles all the way around, which is double in the US. So yeah, it's just trebles all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back, and that's when we'll start the increasing. Alright, so the next round is going to be trebles again, but this is when we're going to be starting the increasing. So into this first stitch, we're going to work a treble, and then we're going to add one more into the same stitch. And then we're going to add 3 treble crochet across 3 stitches. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to increase again. And then that's going to be repeated. So it's just 3 treble crochet, which is the one in the US, 3, and then increase, and then you repeat that all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back. Alright, for this next round, after some playing around with it, because this yarn is a little bit different from the yarn that I used on my rainbow hat, so this time around I'll be placing half trebles, which is half double in the US, and in my rainbow hat I was doing increases in this round. This time around I'm not going to do that because I noticed it was creating a weird looking ruffle wave thing in this hat. So yeah, after some playing, this is the best way to go about it for this round. So half trebles into each stitch all the way around, and then come back. Okay, so for this round, this is going to depend on how floppy your brim is right now. When I say floppy, what I mean is that it's creating a lot of waves in it, like this one here, and yeah, it's gonna, if you keep going with the increases to make the brim wider, it's going to sort of hang in front of your eyes, especially if you wear glasses, which I do sometimes. So if you find your brim is doing that, what I recommend is adding 2 half trebles into the first stitch, skip 1, 2 into that stitch, skip 1 again, 2 half trebles again, and then you repeat that all the way around, and that's sort of going to even out any of the waves in the brim. If you find your brim isn't too floppy and you think you can do one more round of increases with the half trebles, you can do this instead. So for this method, if your brim isn't looking floppy and you think you can add in one more round of increases of half trebles, then what you can do instead is add 8 half trebles at the start, which again is half double in the US. 7, 8. Add the increase, and then we're going to add 9 half trebles. How many is that? 4, 9. Okay. And then increase. And that's what you'll be repeating all the way around. 9 half trebles, increase. 9 half trebles, increase. Okay, do that all the way around, and then when we get to the end after that last increase, I'll show you how to finish off. Okay, once you're at the end, you might be thinking, why is there a stitch there? I've been counting 9 stitches in between the increases while saying this one here. If you remember, we did 8 at the start, so you're perfectly fine. You haven't miscounted. You just do a regular half treble in the end, and you slip stitch it close. If you did the method where you did 2 half trebles into 1 stitch, skip 1, 2 half trebles, skip 1, 2 half trebles, etc. If you did that method, you should be able to finish on that second last stitch from the end. That's only if you did that method. And the next round is going to be the same for both methods. Okay, so for the next round, it's going to be doubles, which is single in the US. Oh. And then from here, it's just doubles all the way around for this round. And then right at the end, this is optional, you can add a round of slip stitches. I only say add slip stitches if you want for the last round, only because you only need the slip stitches if you find the brim is hanging a little bit too low and it's right in your eyes, especially if you wear glasses. That's when you would add slip stitches. If you think you can do fine without them, don't add the slip stitches. It's all up to you. It just depends on how the brim looks on you when you have it on your head. Also, this is also optional. You do not need to do this. I don't even think I'm going to do it on my hat. But if you have these things, pipe cleaners, what you can do, because I was having a little play around it before, what you can do, leave a little bit on this side, get your hook through, and yeah, it's moving. Oh, the pipe cleaner is moving while I'm doing this, but that's okay. But if, and I'm saying if, you want the brim to be moldable, like you want to be able to sort of shape the brim, you can do this only if you want to. And how this works is that you have the stitches wrap around it, sort of thing. Try not to have it too tight. I've used white for mine on this just to show how it looks, but like you can barely see it, and as long as it's not too pointy at the ends, you shouldn't hurt yourself, and especially if you want to do it for a friend. I just jabbed myself with it just then. But if you don't want to keep jabbing, you just fold it around, and you could probably even pull it through a tiny bit if you think it's a little bit long. But you don't need to do this bit if you don't want to. It says optional. This bit is completely optional. So I actually decided to keep the pipe cleaner in my hat, and surprisingly it's actually worked. Like, it keeps the brim intact and it stops it from being too floppy, and it doesn't really get into your eyes as long as you position it on your head properly. I reckon the key thing though is to make sure the stitches are placed around the pipe cleaner pretty evenly, because if you don't, they can bunch up, I noticed. And I do reckon if you use a pipe cleaner to add slip stitches all around, because then that will help seal the pipe cleaner in, should stop it from moving around too much. So yeah, if you use a pipe cleaner for the brim, add slip stitches for the very last row, and then you can sew in the yarn tails, which I will show you a little tip on how to do that. Because I do have the pipe cleaner there, I am going to try and hide it, sort of, not really hide it, but just so I avoid jabbing myself into, jabbing my finger into it. So I've just pulled it through one of the stitches from the front and then this way. So now it's on this side. Now I can't feel the metal bit in, or the wire in the pipe cleaner now that much, so oh no, I can a little bit, so I will go this direction. If you don't have the pipe cleaner in, you can also do this method as well. Okay, I can't feel it that much now. All right, so now I'm just going to go through just a few of the tops of stitches. Oh, sorry. Pull it through. Okay, I think I like that, how far it's gone down. I'm going to find the back of this stitch, just one of those loops. Okay. I have a loop here. I'm going to pull this needle through it and tighten it. Okay. And then I'm going to try and see if I can get it through back up the way it came. Nearly there. Okay. All right, that is the video done. We have made a hat together. I am proud of you for trying. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and to share with anyone you know who would absolutely love this pattern. And comment below if you think of any ideas you reckon I could do a crochet tutorial of. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time in the next tutorial. Bye!